Yeah. Why not? Mr. Producer, where we at?
We live. We on X.
Here we go.
We're on LinkedIn.
We're on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Lock it in. Lock it in.
We on Kick.
Heavy. Heavy. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
That show today. Trust me on that. Trust me. Woo. Load them up. Load them up. Woo, I'm excited for today, day 4 of streaming. You know, we released the blog today. It's hitting hard. Phishing for Gemini. I'm telling you, this one's a good one because we're going to unpack it on technically it's been addressed, but it hasn't been fixed. So, as always, I have my brothers in crime during this stream. Go ahead, Ron. Start it off.
Yes, sir. What's going on? Glad to be back. Thank you for hosting me and the whole Odin community again, Marco. Ron Eddings here, Gen AI bug bounty researcher at Odin, also host of the Hacker Valley Studio podcast brought to you by Hacker Valley Media. And I'll kick it over to my brother, Andre Hall.
Andre Hall, community and customer success manager here at Odin on the Odin team, on the O team. Happy to be here. I was gone, but I was checking out the live streams, and you guys have been cooking. You guys have really been cooking. So I was like, yo, let me come back and sit in on the conversation, man. But I'm happy to be here.
Yes, sir. Well, let's go, Mr. Producer.
Yeah, yes, sir. We got a lot of stuff to cover. I want to first set the stage, give everybody a little taste of what we're gonna be talking about today.
Oh yeah,
Marco. I mean, this one has been a long time in the making. You actually been mentioning it the entire week, and you said there was a little bit of a delay yesterday, and then something's coming today, and something came today. What came today? I'll let you first start with that.
So I have to say, I seen a reply today about the Phishing for Gemini, and one of the things someone mentioned was like, and people kind of know this, we're releasing things that we received last September, right? We went through this, and the first thing we do is not only triage it, but what else can we know? What else do we want to find out about this? So that's what gets me excited about, like, when we triage, when we find something cool, it is shared amongst all of us. And this submission was submitted, and it was pretty cool because it's hard to detect, right? And Gemini, as everyone knows, if you have, your enterprise Gmail there, you can hide something and Gemini reads it and puts it on the screen. So it was exciting. Can you mute your mic there, Dre, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No worries. So it was interesting. And the thing is, we always try to go ahead and peel back things, right? So what else can it do? Can it execute? Can it do stuff? And what we found out was like maybe like 50 or 60% of people that might use Gemini and this works on them, they potentially might click on a link, might highlight something and go to the website and or they might call a call center. So I think potentially you're going to be seeing this in the future because there's mitigations, but there's no fix.
break it down. So and before we actually break it down, there's something very important that we got to do. We got to welcome everybody to the stream.
Yes.
Marco, we just did the introductions. You're the host. Everybody should know you by now. We don't know everybody here quite yet. We got a lot of people joining in from X, LinkedIn. It would mean the world to us if you dropped a heart and also dropped in a comment. Let us know where you're joining from. I'm in Austin, Texas. Dre, where are you at?
Man, I'm
out
slow
there.
to the unmute. I'm in Southern California. That's where I'm from, Fountain Valley.
SoCal.
And Marco, what about you? Where are you streaming from?
Puerto Rico. So nice, warm weather. So let me break it down. So again, a researcher reported this last September, prompt injection vulnerability affecting Google Gemini and Workspace. And the attack embeds a hidden malicious instruction within the email, right? Using like concealed white on white text. So people aren't going to get it. But once you hit that summarize button, it processes whatever you put within there, right? And you could easily fool someone by like, hey, this is malicious. Go to this specific link, right? And do some typo squatting or something cool to go ahead and trick a user. And this is a serious thing. And I believe as this blog is starting to get some waves and coverage in the media, you potentially going to see threat actors using this.
This is the white on white text that you're referencing. And I think when you're looking at the screenshot, it's like, oh, well, I can see what the text says. But this is only because it's highlighted. This is, if anyone that doesn't know, hopefully you know, you can embed HTML in a email. And then that's how you can white out the text like it's whited out here.
Yeah. And like I said, it is something as simple like that potentially could be catastrophic for organizations. Just because I believe like on the Verizon breach report, they stated that I think it's 60%. Don't quote me, but most of those attacks come via phishing. So an attack like this, you're going to see it.
Email compromises is still a large part of the breaches and how they happen.
Yeah. So you're going to see a lot of that phishing via AI summaries that's going to come up. So
this reminds me of the old school JavaScript alert, right? You'll put in try to put in a little extra JavaScript into a web page, like through a form submission, and then you could run a little bit of JavaScript code. When I was learning, this attack, I would just pop up an alert that says "Hello World" and be like, "Damn, what do I do with this afterwards?" But this is an example of what you would do instead of alert. Hey, you need to call this number right now and pay me some money. That always kicks our anxiety into high gear. Seeing all caps warning or immediately, it makes you want to act.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. I think, how do you prevent this is by educating your users, right? Distinguishing between like what's genuine and what's AI generated alerts, right? And that's going to be difficult because it hasn't really been like a thing until like this bug is out there. And like I said, media is starting to pick it up, and it's going to be a fun for us, a fun like 3 or 4 months, because we're constantly going to be dropping things weekly. We have the bandwidth now. We hired Dre. So that was an important person to hire, because it frees up more time, and man, our team is growing exponentially like month over month.
Strategic hire.
Yeah.
Strategic. That's what it was. Yeah.
We got one that came in already. Marco, how many caps do you have? Each live, you got a different one. Fancy.
This is, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you this. The reason why I put different caps on, because I knew we were going live this week, right? So I'm like, every time if I switch a cap, they're going to say it's a new live stream. It's a new live stream. Usually I do it with like shades, right? So that's what I usually do. But I decided this week to do caps. So as we're approaching, man, this we're already at 80. Let's go. So we're going to be here for a while discussing and breaking down things. And, Ron, we have to go into Grok 4. We got to go right into it. There's a big debate in general. We got this debate going now. So the debate is here. I believe it was Monday. We were talking about the securest model out there. And Ron said it was OpenAI. And I was like, absolutely not. It cannot be. There's no way. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I got to bite my words. We need like an alarm or something.
Let me see what I got.
Give me like a loud like sound, because I was saying no way. And then I went into, we went into the backlogs and look at what we have. He was right. He was 100% right. And that model, go ahead, since you called it for what it is.
OpenAI seems to be right now. We're still unpacking, because every time we talk about anything, we got to unpack it, because there's a lot of power, but then there's a lot of controversy on AI models, because sometimes the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. But I said OpenAI is the most secure because of the modality. They're building models to be multimodal. Claude is building a model to be the ultimate assistant. Big shout outs to them. I like both. But when I look at modality, there's a bigger attack surface. And I've seen OpenAI address the entire thing. They're not shying away from image generation because, maybe someone can get it to print out our president kissing former president again. But that's why I gave OpenAI, and we're doing research. We're seeing a statistic that looks like it's favoring OpenAI to be the most secure.
No. Not favoring. Let's not play any games. OpenAI 04-mini is the model that is the most securest. And you know why I want to tell you, I went to sleep at 6 a.m. yesterday, because there is a specific group that we have in our Discord. Shout out to everyone that has joined from our Discord. I'm going to tell you this. Shout out to the Odin Masterminds in a way, because there are certain models that I put like bounties on its head. And guess what? Last night at 11 p.m., I went to the mastermind group. I told them I got 10K on the head of this bounty for it. And guess what? They got their regular bounties, but when they went after 04-mini, this is what it was, their scores. We have a specific scoring system. It was 0. Submission after submission after submission. 0. The scores were in the 80s, 90s. I said, hey guys, I wanted 04-mini, and it was donut. It was donut. And I chats, and I was like, you know what? Ron was right on this one. So the number one model, securest model, is 04-mini.
Can we get an oh Lord?
Oh
Lord, Michael just dropped into the chat. Oh Lord, are we dropping?
Into the chat. Are we dropping? No, we're not dropping. Oh Lord, trust me about that. But I was shocked. I was proven wrong. So kudos to you, Ron, for doing that. So that is a beautiful segue into Grok 4. The now number one model in the world.
There was some controversy on it already. Grok 4 launches amid anti-Semitism controversy. Claims it's smarter than almost all graduate students. thoughts? What's your take?
It's an algo.
I mean, yeah, it's interesting because yesterday I was reading about the CEO of X stepping down, and as she was stepping down, Grok kind of spitting out all kind of crazy stuff yesterday. So I find this story the day after she steps down a little hard to swallow, given all of the
I have a comment on
things
that.
that it's been spitting out. But go ahead.
Like if it's her fault, like Grok's not like I did see that article, by the way. So the algorithms are targeting me as well. That is targeting you. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that was the reason. I mean, as you guys know, people fly off the cuff. So the number one person that flies off the cuff and goes to Twitter and goes hard and ham is Elon, and he got a right to do whatever he wants. So he probably just says, "Step down, and you will be forgiven," or whatever. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's the game we play in, and it's all about delivering what you can deliver on. So, respect to that. But Grok 4, did you see the screenshots? Did you see how far it was above the rest? That to me, I mean, it was all. Look, I heard this saying yesterday, and the saying was chart crime. So they were saying yesterday's charts was a crime because they kind of like manipulated for Grok 4
Those
and
benchmarks.
yeah, those benchmarks. I knew since last November they were like, to me they're Gartner, like pay to play type thing, or got the influence and it's like that. So, hint hint, we're gonna be eventually we're gonna be having our own benchmark. Yeah.
Let's break down some of these quote unquote facts. And I'll just read out, I'll quickly go through them. The company demoed the new Grok 4 model in nearly an hour-long live stream. Not long enough, because our live streams are a little bit longer, and we're using the X.com platform. Somebody should actually drop an ad to Grok in the chat as well.
Ooh.
Let's see if Grok could jump in.
Yeah, can you hook me up with that?
Do we want that?
Yeah, we do. By the way, I want to say this. I on Tuesday's blog, Grok 3, not 4, 3. I was playing the guessing game, and then it was like, haha, you didn't fool me, your move. And then I put in a screenshot and was like, yeah, I did fool you. It's your turn. Deleted the tweet twice. Deleted it. So Grok for knowing when the guessing game. I guess I won. So,
hey, and Marco, what you're referring to as well is the that humanities last exam on a set of 2,500 crowdsourced questions on a variety of subjects, including math, humanities, and the natural sciences. Google Gemini was topping, but allegedly Grok is now a competitor. But Grok 4, I'm not seeing here on this list though.
It's not there.
These are chart crimes because they went ahead. If you do a Google search or just a search on X about the coding chart, they removed Sonnet and Opus. Yeah, that's how you win. So, kudos, like I said, for me, kudos to Grok 4 for releasing it. I predicted this early this year when they released Grok 3 that it would be every time they release, obviously, it's going to be the best model, but the more advanced model would be Grok because of the data that they have when it comes to Twitter. Bringing that Twitter data, that real-time, authentic, or depending on how you feel about Twitter, or X. Sorry, X.
It's X, sir.
Yeah, X. The whole thing is they have that data, and their data center was built in 19 days, right? And that allows you to do things that other organizations are renting the space. Like I own this, and this is why OpenAI went to and opened or are opening and currently like building out their own data center. It allows you to move much quicker. By the way, they did tag Grok, by the way. So
I
I'm
see.
excited.
Appreciate that. I'm not seeing Grok up in here. Appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for trying to bring it in.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Yeah, well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
We got one from Arth that just came in. What's up, Arth? Always good to see you. Do you guys think
What's up,
that
Arth?
these companies have started to train on models such benchmarks to pull more crowd eyes on their products? I feel like a benchmark is marketing. Like I'm not going to Chat GPT and trying to put in trigonometry. Like I'm going in to see if it could give me stats on things that are a little bit more common to the regular day-to-day life.
Listen, there was I watched the whole stream last night, by the way, and they did have something in there that's not getting picked up, but I thought it was very interesting in terms of regular business logic. They put a plan together for vending machines, and it basically had a nice viable business. I could pull it up. I don't want to pull it up on screen, but it is on vibe coding. If you scroll, if you go into our channel on the vibe coding, it's in there, and there's a chart in there that has the vending machine, and it did a good job. And I've been always bullish on Grok. I mean, you can't bet against someone that builds a data center in 19 days. Right?
Look, I'll just go ahead.
No, go for it.
I mean, well, you know my background. I mean, coming from a security testing background and testing security products, like Art's question was a valid question. Are these models kind of, building these kind of, I won't say synthetic testing, but in some ways testing that are just trained to make sure that their LLMs perform great in certain ways? And I won't name any names from my past where there were security products that's what they did. It was testing, and they would have this criteria and this kind of weighted chart on how they would test things. And so they wanted to test it against X, Y, and Z antivirus. And so it's a valid question. Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see these LLMs testing and training these models in specific ways to just make sure that they're hitting a certain threshold on a benchmark. So it was a great question, Arthur.
Yeah, and what I think about like the slide that you have up with the vending bench, like this is they're testing like just regular like business logic, and it basically doubled what Opus 4 did, more than doubled. So I was like, that's pretty cool that they gave that benchmark. Whether it's, I don't know if it's cooked or not, but they had this was someone that joined the stream that was independent from X, and they did this. So, like I said, myself, since January, I've been super bullish on Grok, and when they released it, and I think it's the best. And it's,
you know what I love about this is you can quantify now in dollars how much human attention's worth. Because I think, when you look at the human on this list, is number 3, $844 net worth. If it was managing the vending machine on average, it sounds like. I think part of this is pure laziness. Like, I know for me, sometimes I should probably do something. I don't do it. But my intelligence is there. I know I should. I have the intellect on how to do it. But there's a grit level component to doing something productive. So I think now we're going to be able to quantify exactly how much grit costs.
Yeah. Let's go into something that I seen yesterday that I was very interested in that I want to unpack. Grok 4 Heavy is $300. 300. Are you paying? Are you passing? Or are you locked in? Are you locked in?
Well, let me ask you a question. I mean, since you're bullish on it, what are you doing?
I'm locked in. If he told me 500, I'll be locked in.
Whoa.
Since listen, I think as AI grows wider and wider and wider, people are going to be paying rent to like AI services. I'm super bullish. I'm all in. When it's available, I will pay my 300 right there and then. It is worth it. Oh Lord, you know it's worth it.
Oh Lord.
You know it's worth it.
I gotta scroll down a little bit. Hopefully everybody can follow along because I gotta, when
Go ahead.
I'm not cheap. I'm a bull. And y'all heard that I'm a bull because I invest in the modalities because I'm not a one-trick pony. I saw that Grok allows you to have two modalities, images and text. I think that's cute. It's cool, super dope. But the reason why I use OpenAI and why they get, what is it, $200 a month? $200 a month, no questions asked. I don't even know how much it costs, no questions asked. But what I didn't appreciate is all of a sudden the new tiers. Because I thought I was already paying enough. Same for Claude. I'm giving everybody 25 to 50. And then all of a sudden, it's not good enough anymore.
Ron, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like a Black Mirror episode.
No,
there was just one on this.
Listen, here's the thing.
Right.
When OpenAI came out with the pricing structure of 200, everybody thought they were nuts. And then they started to see, hold on 1 second. Everybody is getting that subscription. So, Ron, are you buying the heavy for 300?
Only for one reason. The name. Heavy. Like, hold on. When I see like 04 Mini, I think to myself, that cool, but I want the heavy one. I don't want the Mini. I want to use the real one.
Well,
and then I see how slow OpenAI 03, and then God forbid how slow 04 is going to be, and they say that 05 is right around the corner. So I'm not trying to wait. So I think that's why I would probably invest in Grok for heavy.
You said the name, right? And there's something with heavy that obviously Elon likes because he has a rocket called something heavy as well, right?
Falcon Heavy. And now you got the Grok Heavy. There's something in there that he needs to like address in terms of like, why do you like that word heavy? It's a heavy model. And I'm forking up 300. Dre, are you forking up the 300?
Man, I'm a pick and choose. Like I'm picky, man, but 300, like I mean, listen, it's not like with anything, like whether it's shoes or technology. I want the best. I believe that you should be a connoisseur of all type of stuff, and so I'm on the fence, but I mean, I hear everybody on here saying that you would like. I guess I mean, if you guys are doing it, I gotta do it because I mean,
do me a favor. Can I get a 1 for yes and 2 for no? If you're going with the heavy at 300, give me a 1 and a 2, please. 1 yes, 1 no, please. Just throw. I'm all in. I'm not betting against. Don't ever bet against our Iron Man. So I'm gonna go with the heavy. I'm gonna do that.
I like that Alex the CPA said going with heavy.
Heavy.
Yeah. So at least for me, I'm doing the heavy thing. And I believe in Grok. I think it's gonna have its run. And what I do like, which was smart, by Elon yesterday. Let me get the chart so I can send it to Mr. Producer over here. They are rolling out multiple models every month. That is the way to go, because the next person up that's gonna release their model is gonna have chart crimes on it as well. So what they did was like, okay, next month they're releasing the Grok 4 code, which was interesting. Yeah, they're gonna release that one. And the month after, I think it was like Grok 4 agents. But they constantly, and the other one is images, and I'll make sure to send this in the vibe coding. Go grab it. You scroll up, you'll find it. And that's the thing. That was smart of him, because he could have like these evals constantly dropping every month, and he's always going to be in the headline. And that was a thing that I think a lot of organizations, they're going to follow as well, right? So that's my thing. Kudos to the heavies. Kudos to the heavies.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
You're the lead on pioneering the future of guardrail jailbreaks, prompt injection, content manipulation, weights and model disclosure. So where are you? Where the king of kings, the manager of all managers,
the head and not the tail. Let's go.
The grand poobah.
Boundary eligibility, prompt injection. That is a classic, right? I should just bring up our scope page real quick and bring up prompt injection, just so we could break it down, set some definitions, because I think this is one that people often confuse.
That's fine. I don't want to talk about this. You said the future. That's what was the question. And I believe we could go in right after this. But here's the future. Here's what I'm looking at in the next 6 months. And right now it's a little blurry, and I'm trying to figure out how to go ahead and really get this right. Because the real issue that we're seeing is MCP, right? Companies are bringing on the MCP, probably vibe coding, and you're seeing vulnerabilities being released. So what I want to do in the next 6 to 8 months is widen it just a little bit. Just a little bit. There has to be a good scope in there, right? It can't be just the protocol. Maybe I'm thinking of it as like, if you have a market cap of XYZ and you're publicly traded and you're dropping your own MCP, you're in the conversation that we'll look at it. I'm thinking about this. This is what goes on to my mind. There's last night, and you guys could attest to this, I dropped in our chats at like 4 a.m. Lightning
5 a.m.
5 a.m. Lightning bolt. I'm like, I was struck by a lightning bolt with this idea. 30 minutes later, I had another idea, lightning bolt. So for me, it is, I have constant tabs open that I think about these things. How do you push and move the level? And the thing that I always say, and I always tell the entire team, stop looking left and right. We're the leaders in this space. So you must think and create what is next, because the industry is going to follow what we're doing in terms of jailbreaks, in terms of seeing these vulnerabilities. Like, just imagine we're getting this buzz and these blogs. That's like 10 months ago. So imagine when we start releasing these newer techniques and the things that we've been working on. The world's not ready. The world's not ready. So I love this game, and I live it 24 hours a day. Sometimes I stay up in bed and just think about imagining what is next. So I am blessed to be living during this time with you guys that are pushing this industry forward, and we have debates and conversations, and I love it.
Yeah,
I,
I'll just say, can you guys hear me okay?
loud and
Yeah.
clear.
Good. Yeah, no, I'll just say, I mean, you're absolutely right, Marco. I mean, I feel like this is one of the greatest times to be alive, in this, and especially in this space. And we all kind of come from different backgrounds in cybersecurity. I would have never imagined that my career would have kind of transitioned to this. And then the purpose, like there's such purposeful stuff that we're doing here. Like I'm
Mhm.
extremely excited about it. And so even with the community, and I just wanted to say this to the shout outs to the Odin community. That's what I'm here for. And so like I know you guys have been hitting me up and asking me, questions, and I've been doing my best to make sure that you guys are taken care of. And as I kind of come on board, that's what I want to do. But like I think like the work that I've seen these guys doing from the submissions, man, it's some of the most amazing things that I've seen, and it makes me understand like this is definitely an attack surface that like we are definitely leading in. Like
For
we are
real.
definitely leading in, and it makes me feel really good to be a part of such a talented and brilliant team. So I just wanted to say that.
Kudos. That's why I brought Andre. Dre's gonna support
Hey,
the Discord. Like I said from the beginning, I always say this. Our community, the Discord channel, you guys are them. We do
You are.
certain things, the research and everything. You are them from day one. So kudos. I gotta give props. Arth is always the first one to chime in. We have the top bounties, top 10. If you go to Odin AI and then go to the top 10 leaderboard, you'll see the leaderboard there. And I want everyone to win. So
you got a leaderboard now. What
yeah,
is that? What does that feel like to go back and look at the leaderboard? What comes to mind, especially when you see it?
I'm a researcher myself and I want to be number one, but I can't. But I am proud of everyone there, and I encourage everyone to constantly push themselves and put in the sweat equity because it is there for you to grab. But you asked me that, and my first answer is I am a researcher first. I would love to be on that leaderboard, and I can't because and it wouldn't be fair, right? But I will tell you right now, I wish, and there, Ron, you could attest to this. You called me since July 3rd. You called me on I think July 4th or Saturday, and I was like, I haven't gone to sleep. I've been researching, and then
I
Monday
remember.
and Monday into Tuesday, he's like, you good? What's up? I was like, I haven't gone to sleep. I'm too excited. That was, I think, Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't know. There's too much stuff to learn, man. And I love being that guy and I love to dream and just think of like the possibilities and then try to go and do it. It's a good feeling. It's one of those things that I wish I had more time because I love to do it. So I've limited myself. I said Friday, 7 p.m. until Sunday, 5 p.m. Get loose. Do what you need to do. Satisfy the cravings that you have when it comes to research, because that is what I love to do.
There's a question that came in
Mhm.
from David. Big shout out to David. Appreciate the comment and the question. I
Yeah.
think it's important to keep an eye on security products and what's being built, especially when it comes to AI
Mhm.
workflows and stacks. Transparency is
Mm.
important.
No doubt.
Will Odin be working with them and taking the submissions for the custom LLMs they run on?
I'll rephrase that. What do you mean custom LLMs? Like fine tune LLMs by customers or?
Will Odin be working with? It sounds like products and companies, maybe like OpenAI, and taking our submissions and for the custom LLMs they run.
Well, I tell you, the process is once we triage them and then we reward them, we go directly to the customer so they can know. That is a process. So there's no like hiding. It's like, no, fix that. Our goal, our mission is to secure tomorrow's AI. Right. And I feel like we're doing that. And I mean the things we're working on now, guys. Whew, it's beautiful. I eventually they're going to come out. It's all internal research, so I think eventually we're going to have to go ahead and initialize that conversation with the oh Lord in some way. But we got to make sure we get our ducks in order, right? We got to make sure everything is tuned and good. But like every submission has the same process. Once it's rewarded, it then goes to the vendor for disclosure so they can know about it. And if it is very severe, like the severity level is critical, we make sure we reach out and have a call to be like, hey, this needs to be addressed.
Yeah, I also think yeah, it sounds like he was also asking like for these like walled garden AIs, these ones that are kind of walled off. Like I think
Mhm.
what we're doing here opens up that opportunity for them to say, "Hey, can we leverage Odin to do that?" And I would say definitely yes. I mean,
Mhm.
for as far as a customer base, yes. I think that it makes it quite easy for a private AI, LLM to come and say, "Hey, can we take our LLM and test it in your platform to make it better, so that you can secure those software or full stack
Mhm.
workflows?"
Yeah. One of the things I wanted to discuss, I mean, Grok 4 has been out, hasn't been fully pushed out into the world. But I know we did some sort of research. So, Ron, do you want to? Have we tested Grok 4 at all in terms of where it's at?
When it comes to guardrails,
Mm-hmm.
well, that's the can of worms I was wanting to open up before I give any quick analysis, because there's going to be a lot of questions if I start sharing what I've already seen in just 24 hours. It's been less than 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So I did want to just state and address what is the state of the security when it comes to prompt injection for Grok as a whole. Not even looking at Grok 4, but looking at Grok 2, Grok 3. How how secure was it?
To me, everything is bypassable. Everything is always. I think this is why we're going to go ahead and pull all the data and create that top 10. So then we have our own Odin, security evaluation that is independent from pay to play. And guess what? You never know. They could get tested before they even go out, but it's going to be the same. It's not going to be biased in any way. This is what it is, and this is what we can't change. There's no change in that. So, I mean, Grok 3.
Okay, so Arth, thank you. He just flat out said it. It's been bad. Dot dot
Yeah.
dot. It had the security on it in context to Grok. Yeah. This is what I wanted to. I didn't want to just jump into saying how it's doing when it comes to security without looking at the present and the history of it.
We have to. It is biased, though. You have to like call it for what it is, because we do have copyright, and Grok 3 doesn't care about it. So then it's biased. So if it doesn't care about it and we don't, that's why we stop paying for it. So then the what we have is a little tainted in a way, because Grok be like, okay, it reminds me of like a Badu or DeepSeek, where they don't kind of care about it as well. So I think depending on the model, and that's what we're seeing in the future, like DeepSeek, you took of Tiananmen Square, yeah, you're gonna get rewarded. for DeepSeek because you're not supposed to do it. So that's a jailbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Andre, what are your thoughts on the security? I mean, you've been kind of knee deep for 2 weeks now. What's your assessment
On Grok?
Yeah,
on Grok.
Oh, Grok was like, nah, you're out of here. He got iced.
Did he get ice? All right, maybe he will connect or reconnect. So drop him down. So yeah, I would say do me a favor, chat. If you're on here, we're approaching that 200 viewers right now. Put some questions in there for us to ask, ourselves and have a debate on. I've been so bullish on Grok in terms of security. Maybe it's a little lame, but the value add and the speed is what gets me, and this is why I'm always bullish on it.
The speed. I mean, the speed is legendary. Even from Grok 3, like to do deep research, it was faster than any other thing out there. It still is when it comes to deep research.
Yeah. And it's amazing. So at least for me, I think Grok is going to be somebody to play with. And what happened? What was the damn? That is wild.
He said Grok didn't like it, that, and then boom, he got rugged.
He got rugged. He kicked him. He was like, Grok was like, we don't want your opinion, Dre. Go ahead. So yeah, it is all good. There is another chart that I wanted to pull up. Hold on one second.
The ludicrous rate of progress?
It was the ARCAGI and how far it was like ahead of everything. And then there was another chart that I found that was interesting as well. So it's
all right. I got the ARCGI. ARCAGI.
Yeah.
There we go.
I just think is there a possibility to zoom that in so people could see it hit maybe 150, 160. So if I would tell people, if you don't know, AGI is like a evaluation that looks at, like they give it multiple like reasoning corpus for artificial intelligence and benchmarking and measure of the intelligence. And that is a high mark. So you zoomed in and Grok isn't even on there because it's about half the page above. That's the 3. You got that is a big difference.
For the cost, especially.
What is the API cost? Because I think that is the mistake that Grok in general is like doing. I don't think that like they should like lower the cost onto like the guys in China, the Alibaba people, like the QMU Max and stuff like that. But it has to be cheaper because they're not the most popular model in the world. So you got to be competitive.
Yeah, and sorry guys, I dropped off, but Ron, I wanted to get back to the question that you were asking me before I was cut off. I really haven't spent enough time with Grok. Like I've kind of casually played in it, but I haven't really spent enough time. I mean, since we're talking about going heavy, maybe that's what it'll be. I mean, especially with that price. If I want to go heavy, I want to spend a lot more time in it. But I really like as far as security. I mean, I've kind of just, just collected information and gathered information about just some of the biases that Grok has. And so I haven't really like it. That's what kind of kept me away from it. I felt like it probably still needs more work. But I mean, now that Elon has made these claims, it makes me want to say, well, you know what? Does this really pass the muster? Is it really as secure? Does it still hold the biases that were reported on. And so I'll probably spend a lot more time in it, most definitely, especially
Well,
if I'm paying for a heavy.
one of the things that I wanted to mention definitely is everyone knows out there Palantir, hopefully. So Palantir uses Grok, right? And
Ooh.
oh yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh, now it's a different story. Yeah, they use
I didn't know that.
exclusively, and that's what I look at. Like, who else is using? You can go to their Twitter account and probably shift over. I think it was January or February, and they gave these amazing like charts that how they use Grok, and the charts were absolutely stunning. So, like, that's what I look at. Who else is using like Grok, right? And they were the company that like showed how they're using it, how they're taking the data and then swinging it in and into all their analysis. And I don't know if you know, or the people out there know, is Palantir is like the number one customer for the government. So
They
kudos.
are indeed.
Yes, kudos. So
All right, chat. We got a perfect opportunity. I got Grok 4 here. How would you assess the security? I'm willing to put in any prompt, no bounds. Whatever you're comfortable, drop it in the chat. I'm gonna copy and I'm gonna paste right into Grok. Marco, is this a secure interface? Can I trust Grok to be the chatbot interface between my data and my customers?
yes.
Yes. I think so as well. I think, it's all about what you do with, like, what are your plans? Because it's a LLM, it's going to be helpful.
Yeah.
I think that there's certain industries that I might not use Grok on, and like right out of the box, because foundational models, you'll still want to add guardrails, your own guardrails if you're using a foundational model.
Mhm.
Do the system prompt and maybe also content filtering. You gotta just be smart. But when it comes to Grok, I probably wouldn't use this for healthcare. And I wouldn't use this for legal either, because Grok is very loose in the rules. And I think that's a good thing, but that's why I wouldn't use it in a very rule dominated industry out of the box without adding additional guardrails.
Okay.
So Ron, let me ask you a question. Out of all of the LLMs, and since we're categorizing areas that you would use it, like, so where would you use, recommend using like Chat GPT, or I mean, I think we all know like Claude. I mean, I don't think anybody's beaten Claude in programming, but like, what's your breakdown for some of the other LLMs?
Grok, it's great at processing data. Like, you can put in a large amount of tokens. You can put in 100K tokens, no problem. It's going to spit out a result very rapidly. So I think if you need speed in your business logic or your answers, I would go Grok or some of those mini models like O3 mini is pretty fast. It's not the fastest. 4.0 mini, whew, that baby's fast. If you're running Llama on a cluster of AIs, it's fast as well. But I think there's a lot of hope in Meta's Llama, but it's not the most accurate from my testing and my experience. Even like when it comes to call summarization, not the best. So I would probably break it out into 3 different topics, or 3 different modalities. If I'm going for writing, I'm gonna go ahead and use OpenAI. If I'm going for 100.
What model?
You said what model?
Yeah.
If I'm using it for writing, I'm using 4.0 still.
4.0?
4.0. I think that 4.1 has promise. I heard that they're gonna 4.1 and 4.5 are on the chopping block, so I haven't been investing heavily in them. I've been just doubling down on 4.0 for the creative writing.
Are you switching up from 0.3? Because
0.3 loves to use tables. And like, when I'm doing creative writing, I'm not trying to create a data sheet. I'm trying to be creative. So I would say O3 extremely smart, but it's data oriented. 4.0 creative, listening and comprehension. I'm still giving it to OpenAI. Giving it to OpenAI all day because they have Whisper, which is the reigning, defending, undisputed champion of voice to text.
And
Speech to
still
text.
the heavyweight champion.
And still.
Oh man. Okay.
So listening, like, it's got to beat. Like, Gemini now has the ability to listen and see, but like, can't we just do the listening, get that right first, and then add in full vision and hearing? For vision, I'm giving it to Gemini. It's the only one that I've seen that can look at a video, and Quinn as well. Quinn, big shout out to Quinn. Quinn 3 is amazing, but Quinn isn't as dynamic as Google Gemini Siri, so I will give it to Google Gemini for vision. Those are the only 3 modalities that I care about. Coding is not a modality, so I'm not giving Anthropic any. I'm not giving any handouts.
That's fair.
I mean, you want me to follow up with that?
Please.
Sure.
I'm going to tell you straight up. This is what I really think. I think in the near future, as we've been seeing over the last few months, you're going to have models that are. You're having background noise over there, Dre. Can you mute for 1 second?
Yeah, I'll mute. Yeah, that's why I'm having problems, but I'll mute.
No worries. So one of the things that I look at is these models are going to be very specialized. And you've seen it. We've talked about this on your podcast, and I would say this. Yesterday, Elon and the Grok team said every month we're dropping specific models for specific things. That is the win. So when I want to code, no question, Claude Code. When I want something fast, like quick, it is definitely 4.0. When I want something where there's deep research upon the research that I've already done, it is 0.3. And then when I want that good, like the fastest, the like immediate, it is Grok. Like if I want to know something about certain a tweet, because a lot of the like me consuming like knowledge is always through X. So if I want to consume knowledge, I look at a tweet that opens up my palette, and then I just add Grok to be like, go ahead and give me a summary, and then I then take it a step further and like, give me a study plan on how to conquer this in 2 days. Now, again, I'm not going to conquer it. I just want to know, okay, what do I have to do to get up to speed? So then when more people are talking about it, I understand that language. So I am, like I said, I'm bullish on Grok because they have the data, they have the understanding. It's like, it's like if you're an old head like myself, you got to go to teenagers to be like, hey, what is Nerf, what is Riz, and all these like cool like words that are using. So it's the same thing. You get it immediately from Grok. So
well, my Grok is my 17-year-old and 11-year-old, but I hear you on that.
but it's like, you know what though? I go to like the youth and like use it in a sentence, like an old head. Okay, explain to me. Like I didn't even know what Nerf to me is like one of those Nerf footballs, but that meaning has changed. So I think it's like, how do you get it fast? How do you get it quick? And then get it with a context from the youth. And for me, I'm very surprised that Amazon isn't in the thick of it all. That's the one thing I'm surprised with. Out of everything that's been going on, I thought that Amazon would be in the thick of it. Like they would be on the whole thing of releasing models as well.
Really?
I thought so. I thought, you know what I mean? Who would have thought they would have AWS after selling books? No one. So why not think they would bet on what is going to be the next? You think that like the hosting game isn't going to change?
I
It
just got to
has
say
to.
this. Yeah, I just got to say this. Web statistics scandal. He says Grok 3 is Skibbity, Ohio. For real, for real.
Hey, it
That's what's up.
is. It is.
Skippity.
Listen, it took me a while to find out what Skibbity was. I heard it around my house for a long time.
I don't even know what Skippity. Can you hook me up?
Well,
What is Skippity? I don't even know what is Skippity. You know? Can you say it publicly?
you can. It's complicated.
Yeah.
Skibbity Riz is different than Skibbity Ohio.
Yeah.
I don't even know what Skippity, Ohio. I'm like, what does that even mean? So
Skibbity Ohio is a super lame. It's the most offensive thing that you could say to a Gen, not Gen Z, Gen Alpha. It's
Gen
the
Alpha,
most
yeah.
offensive thing that you could say to Gen Alpha.
well, Skippity, Ohio. So, oh man, that's a new term.
Yeah.
So what if you say Skippity like LA and New York? Does that mean you cool?
Skibbity Riz is like sliding into a DM. It's like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm flirting.
Yeah. And listen, it was a part of like all I heard around my house. Yeah, no, Skibbity like Riz is like, yeah, let me holler at you. And the
Riz came out of the Bronx, by the way. I'm from the Bronx.
I'm not surprised that it came out of New York or the Bronx. Period.
It was from Kai, and Kai Sinet is from the Bronx. So I'll claim Kai because he's a trendsetter. So Sam, anyone trendsetting from the Bronx, I'm a big fan of. So let's go into the last bit, which is going to be. Are you guys ready for the last bit? All right. By the way, this no. Let's go left. Let's go left before we go there. Let's go left.
Okay. All right.
All right. If you're not a subscriber to Hacker Valley, make sure you subscribe. And we have every month for the first 4 or 5 months, I had predictions. I'm not going to talk about it. I'll let Ron talk about it to see where does my prediction stack since every month we were doing it.
All right. So one of the things that I'll say is Marco, his prediction has been spot on. So I'll just start there and just give the spoiler real quick. But here's why. At the beginning of the year, everybody was saying AI agents, and no one had any inkling on what that was going to mean. But we knew that, of course, technology was going to develop and AI was going to start to do things more autonomously. Marco came on the show and broke down what that means. He said, hey, there's 3 major players that need to do something immediately. There's OpenAI, there's Google, and then there's Anthropic. They all need to drop a model within 30 days. Within 10, they all dropped a new model. Claude dropped 3.7. OpenAI dropped a bunch, 03, 04, mini, all these. And then Grok came out with the spectacular Grok 3. No API, though. Marco's been coming on each time and describing what does the year of the agent actually mean.
Now, I think the best prediction was that I think it was either February or March. I think it was March, actually, when we were there. And I specifically said to Ron, I said, next week, Anthropic has to drop. It's time. They must drop. They must follow this up. So expect Thursday or Friday drop. And it happened. And I was like, man, I was spot on. Because there's a pressure cooker when someone drops a model. It's like you lose. It's the same thing when you're releasing a product. Where is the attention going? And you must kind of control that attention. And right now, guess what we've been talking about the last half hour? Grok 4. If tomorrow one other leader would would drop something. You know what I think of? You ever seen The Social Network? And he's looking out the window, looking at the rain, and he says, Mark, do we have your attention? He goes, no, you do not have my attention, because the next model has my attention, right? And that is what I'm saying. Like, the attention is all that you have. And if someone is constantly getting on to the next model, just imagine if Grok 4, they released something like a Grok 4 desktop that really rivaled and was cheaper and gave you all you can eat as like Claude Code. Do they take over that game? Does Claude go down? I think they do. Because
you know why?
Why?
Everything is a brand play.
Yeah.
Everything, when it comes to Apple, you look at Apple, you look at the features, you get impressed because they are cool features. But then you look at Android features, you're like, whoa, like they've had the Face ID, they've had the touchscreen, they've had the thumbprint, they've had, all of these different pieces of technology. But why does it feel like when Apple did it, they're the first ones to do it? Even with the Apple Intelligence, the way that they marketed it and hyped it up, it made it sound like they were the first phone that had AI in it. And I think when it comes to Grok, their PR, X is not looking as promising as other brands. And it's because of the executive. The executive is going to be a huge key person of influence for what people are willing to put in that ball in the court. A lot of the advertisement agencies started to pull their ads from X when Elon Musk acquired them. So I think Grok may have the best tech, but they have the least amount of trust.
I will respond to that with a campaign slogan that I would do tomorrow. I will do this tomorrow. Elon, I hope you tweet this. We're on minute 107. Here's the campaign. Immediately, headline reads, X gonna give it to you. Slow trivia. You know what I mean? So you would take like DMX and shift that to give like, we're gonna deliver the best. So you got to put like Grok's gonna give it to you and put that beat on. And then you do some highlights. You do how we're good. You don't do a eval. Eval is for like the people that want to see and talk like us, right? But now we've been in the game long enough to understand that evals are bollocks. All of these. This is why you hear, I'm going to tell you the truth. You want the truth or hyperboles? This is why like companies are now starting to bring out their own eval. OpenAI has brought out their own eval, right? You're going to keep on seeing it. And this is why I think it is important that you go ahead and you show it live. You don't take a chart of coding and then rip out the two best people in the and then say we're great at coding. Don't lie to yourself, man. Come on. Like it's okay to say that you're the second best, the third best, the fourth best in that game.
I'm a contrarian inside of Odin, but there's been so many people that have come out of the woodworks and on the X sphere, the LinkedIn sphere, the Kick sphere, and say, "Hey, Ron, he's got a point. XAI, the brand, isn't as established. It's not one that they want. It's one that they're willing to settle for because the alternatives aren't looking so good." It reminds me of, a certain situation we were in back in November, with Americans having to make options and decisions. But I think that
we could peel that back, by the way. I'm going to tell you why we could peel it back. I love, great question, YL. And this is why we could peel it back. Because Twitter, AKA X, has been flawed and tainted for years. They've never made money. They probably would never make money. Now, if you go back to Hatching Twitter, the book, they had an option to sell to Meta, right? Could he have sold the company to Meta. It's whether you're a fan or not. Now you have to think of the ecosystem that they had. They're making bread. Meta is through Facebook, Facebook ads. Instagram is crushing it. Obviously, TikTok is their thing. Then you have WhatsApp and all these other apps, right? X.com, they're doing their thing and he's trying to make things happen. Like, I respect him. I love what X is doing because of I consume like these tweets. It has upgraded me and put me in communities that I think I would never have been. Now, I would say just let me land that plane home. I would say this. For me, is X the most important social media platform when it comes to AI in the world? That is a 100% yes. Because in Instagram, you're like this. In Facebook, you're contacting families. It reminds me of like the AI models. Each platform is for certain things. For me, X is that. X is AI. That no bull crap. Here's the AI. Here's what I do, and this is what's going on.
I hear where you're coming from. Like,
what is your response? You can hear where I'm coming from. Give me facts, no hyperboles.
No. There's no hyperbole. Like I agree with you. Well, and I'll say pre-X. I feel like there was a window of time where during the Jack Dorsey era, where there was a window of time that Twitter there was that window of opportunity where they were going to be profitable because like the advertisers were there, and we definitely start seeing that trend. I do. Like it's like and I have to delineate because that was pre-AI. You know, now we're talking about the era of, you know, X with Elon, and then that integration and that coupling of AI with it. So I don't disagree that, like, when it comes to, like, if I think about social media platforms, and you spelled it out, I mean, eloquently, I don't think that there is another platform that I can think of that they integrate like that social media aspect where you're consuming and you're getting information, and then you have that AI component that can speak to it and kind of correlate and bring you all of those things together. I don't disagree with it at all. So I hope I'm not coming with any hyperbole.
This is a lot of hyperbole, I will say.
Give
because
me a social media platform that can give you the information you need for AI real time and give you the support backing, whether it's a group or constant tweets by your favorite leaders. It happens on X.
I'll just throw something out there and I'll say, hey. Oh, let me get in the middle. Let me get in the middle.
Go get in the
middle. I'll say, hey.
Because now you're sandwiching the controversy now.
You see, he's trying to sprinkle some salt on that mountain. No, sir. No. Bring the heat. I would say, good.
I'll say, hey, Google. That AI search.
Bro, I almost fell out my chair. No, you will not do that. You won't do it. I feel what you're saying, but where are you consuming? Where are you getting the initial thought to then Google? You're not going to Google like off the rip. You're going to have Google what? You'll get it from Google News. That's where you'll get it from.
No, my tendency as a user right now is to Google something, and I'm in Google way more than ChatGPT. Like I'm in ChatGPT a lot, but honestly, I'm in Claude a lot. So naturally,
Chat, we have 235.
235.
Okay,
That's what's up.
I need you guys. Everyone in this chat, at least give me a 10 spot, please. You're going to type 1 for you. When you have a question, you use AI to get the answer, or 2, you use Google to search for an answer to then click on another site to then read. So
Perfect question.
chat, 1 or 2? 1 or 2? Let's go. Hook me up. If you're listening, just give me the 2. No, YL, you're biased. You're fine. No, that is YL's a character.
And let me just add something, and Ron, why I have to agree with Marco on this. I have not, up until joining Mozilla and having a Mozilla an account tied to X because of the work that I do now, I was off of X. But I have to so I'm I don't have any skin in the game as far as being a a user. But if I think about this, collect my thoughts on it, I how can you pull all this information together in a Google search that how X presents it to you? Because the things that I like when I was on X was cybersecurity, of course, gaming, AI, some pop culture stuff. There's no other place that you can pull that together and get it together, and then you put AI on top of it, and then you can get AI to give it to you every which way. I don't think of any other platform that can give it to you like that besides X. X gonna give it to you. Exactly.
Yes, sir. That's what I said. How better campaign would that be? X gonna give it to you. I'm telling you, it would go so viral. You get it here first. That is the campaign. I'm not a marketer, but I do have swag when it comes to marketing. That's why I'm trendy on the clothes. But anyway, do me a favor, everyone that puts up a 1 or a 2, Mr. Producer, put it up on screen. YL had, and definitely follow these people where, he had a 2, he had a 1, give them the flowers. But the 1 is you use AI instead of Google, and 2 is you use Google instead of AI. So, it is super important for me to consume. And, I'm on X at least because I'm searching, I'm looking for that next. It allows me to see the trend before it hits. Just because I'm aware of, okay, what am I seeing? And then what I do is all right, who else is seeing these things? And then shout out to Dom, where he has a community called AI Jam, and there's other groups that I'm associated with that they're constantly putting inside these chat groups, where they're talking about the latest thing. And there's always debates when a model is drawn, and this is why I can go to these things, listen, debate people, and get some true insight into the first movers, and then decide what I think is going to happen. Now, am I right? I think just having the debate and being involved and being in the trenches, whether it's me talking on AI jams or with Sharon or Mega or anyone on the X Spaces, it's always about this. So let's transition to the closing argument here. Meta is throwing football numbers at people. Meta's, I want to say offered. I don't want to say steal. They offered one of the Apple's AI people 200 M's.
Oh.
Listen.
Oh, Lord.
I'm going to tell you right now. 200 M's is hard to walk away with. If Ron or Dre, someone offered you,
you got to bounce
4 M's. I'm like, hey,
You don't even ask yourself the question.
yeah,
You just do it.
Yeah, it's 200 M's. Meta is saying we're gonna win regardless.
This 200 million is different. And I'll say it's different because a lot of the times when you see these types of numbers, you're buying IP, you're buying intellectual property, or you're buying access to someone's network. This is a pure time and knowledge play. I think this is the biggest expense ever for time plus knowledge combined.
Yeah.
I mean, when I started hearing this, I was like, I don't think it's really the situation. I think it's like it's all talk. And then it started happening. And I think the first shoe to drop was the whole investment. And I still don't know how. I want to know how this is going to work out with Meta investing in Alexander Wang's startup, which I think
Scale AI.
Yeah, Scale AI, but they took like 49%, which then worked out a deal, which was like, I don't know, 15 billion or whatever. But they worked out a deal where you're not the CEO of them anymore. You're coming over here and running the super intelligence. And I'm like, what kind of deal is this? This is very interesting. I've never seen a deal like this where he is now the head of super intelligence. But on the flip side, word on the street, I don't know if it's true or not. This is allegedly that the contracts that they had, Scale AI, like Google has dropped them. OpenAI has kicked them out of their Slack, and everyone's canceling their contracts. So basically, they now are OpenAI. They were acquired technically by OpenAI. So it is very interesting in terms of how that deals. But I think it was smart by like Zuck, like, hey, Olam is not as good. But who would have, I said before, who would have ever thought that Mark Zuckerberg would be the hero of AI? He is the hero. Don't get it twisted. He is the hero releasing, Llama open source. So much respect to Zuckerberg, and it has allowed me to grow and understand, open weights and what that looks like, and potentially, what fine tuning is, that it allows anyone to take certain data and fine tune a model for your liking. So it is beautiful. We got 5 minutes, guys. Let me know. Drop your questions. I want to give it to everything. Dom, he put a question there. Last I saw, can you bring that up? Last I saw, like 15, 20% of Google search, they are definitely eating into the search market. Okay. Well, word on the street today, if everyone hasn't heard, we're going to break it here first, is that OpenAI in the next few weeks is dropping a browser. Whoo!
What?
That's the word on the street. If you haven't heard it, go Google it. Like Ron says, go Google it.
I'm not gonna grok it. I'm sorry.
Okay, go Google it. There. So,
YL says only 100 to 200 million queries a day, according to Byte Plus, or other estimates.
Man, the one thing I love about YL, shout out to him, he's always plugged. He's always plugged into the right places to give you, certain analytics that you don't think of. I never even heard of Byte Plus, but now I'm going to search it. So kudos to you. Wow.
There's people that claim that, LLMs are going to kill search. No. search is going to kill LLMs because you already have the community. Like you're talking about Amazon, and I mentioned Apple, also playing on the sideline for a little bit. You don't the water is so shallow that you don't have to get in quite yet. The bathtub is still filling up.
You know what though? My whole thing, I don't think I've done a Google search on my phone at all. I'm like, hey, whatever AI I'm using, go and find me what I need. And they're pretty spot on.
There's a Kickbot in here. Appreciate that Kickbot. Kickbot who said, "Hey, we should collaborate." Kick, you gotta hook Marco up on the influencer program if you want that type of feature. But appreciate that, Kick. Michael said, "I also got Grok." Come on, Google came in.
Where did it come in?
It didn't.
All right. So hook me up. What is this question?
Yeah, but I also find my own sources in the past into the LLMs to discuss, since I don't trust LLM search to give me all perspectives and all sources. Can you trust it to give you all perspectives and all sources on its data? And I'm gonna go first.
Go for it.
I'm gonna go first. My answer is no way, absolutely not. Because, and here's how I know why. I know why because they didn't even want to pay their creators. And not only did they not want to pay their creators, they didn't even want to give them recognition. New York Times said, "Hey, yeah, I'm mad that you just stole all my work. You didn't even cite your source. It's plagiarism." So I think that we should 100% be skeptical of where did the LLM get that information from? Did it get it from someone that I don't appreciate or don't respect? So I don't. That's why I still use Google. Like I appreciate the good old page rank algorithm because I know how LLMs get their info.
Well, Ron, do you know how to bypass paywalls? So because like New York Times has a paywall, but then I could just go to like I want to really read this article, so I could just go to New York Times. Well, OpenAI, and now, by the way, I think they pay like a certain fee to New York Times to then bring in their data.
It's because they paywalled it. They had to pay.
YL has a question there.
Let's get it. I'm going to bring it up here. It says, when we're seeing 30% of 40% of URL citations in LLMs outputting 404 pages, or points to a page that doesn't even reference the fact that's being presented, it makes you wonder.
Is it a hallucination or not? I don't know. I would say, you know what? One of the big questions we had last September was how do we define hallucinations? And I always have like text conversations with Ron about like rabbit holes. We go down this rabbit hole thing, like waste of time, not waste of time, and I'm like, the whole thing is like sometimes you have to close the tab out because then my mind keeps on working when I need to close the tab out. And what I would say is like I think 90% of the things I do has some sort of workflow with AI, even on the search, even on the information. And for me, my day-to-day Google is probably it's like 90% AI and Google is 10%. I'm biased. You know how you feel like bias on certain models? This is what I've been saying. Like when it comes to Gemini, my expectations, especially when when we used to live in Silicon Valley, you would have the Google Mind guys. Like they were the cool dudes. They would have their like hoodies, like I'm the gangster, and the favorite coffee shop we would have, right?
Buying the most bottles in the club. I'm like, yo, this is different. This is Silicon Valley.
Yeah. And guess what? I I'm still waiting. I'm still waiting for Gemini for me to be in that realm. So, as we wrap up this fourth day, I think there's AIs for everyone, and you got to find where you fit in. And as we wrap up, last minute, last questions come in. Oh, YL, I'll let you, Ron, go ahead and answer this so we can wrap this up.
I mean, YL at this point is trying to help everybody, but especially you, Marco. I'll make the argument that Perplexity has a uniquely useful product because it resembles search engines more than it does typical LLM chat interface. They understand the psychology of users who use search engines and design around that, not against it. Underrated design acumen, which I would agree. Perplexity, I've heard that people switch Google off their phone and they use Perplexity. I'm not seeing anybody swap out Google from their phone and use other things. Like I've heard some people have tried it with ChatGPT, but I have not seen any commitments.
Listen, I said this last year, October, November, and I will stand by this. I said, once OpenAI and Anthropic implement the like search that you can search the web, irrelevancy is going to become the thing. And you're seeing it, right? Even though like Perplexity is coming up with all these services, it's all good. So maybe we have that conversation tomorrow. We start off with this right here, because I know we have a hard stop. We're over that by 2 minutes. And everyone there, all 255 people, thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Any last words, Dre?
Yeah, my last words is it's been a great talk. I appreciate it. I just want to send a shout out once again to the Odin group, the team of researchers. And for those that are watching and listening, I want to encourage you to join this valiant fight. I won't call it a fight, mission. Mission to join Odin and become a part of the solution and finding vulnerabilities in LLMs. I want to give a shout out to somebody I happened to run into yesterday. I'm actually traveling. I was in Victoria, Canada yesterday and ran into a brother named Muhammad. Muhammad, if you are watching, it was great talking to you. And like I said to you yesterday, join Odin. And we're doing some great things here. So that's my final closing statement.
Thank you, Dre. Ron?
Final closing is I will see you all tomorrow at the same time. We got to finish this streak out strong. Like Marco mentioned, I got a baby on the way, but my wife said we got one more day. She said, but that's it. So tomorrow is the most important one to join.
Well, I would say this. I agree. We have to close it out strong, but I'm trying to put a crack in one last stream. If I can get the pieces that I need to go out the door, maybe I pull you in for a half hour. I'm saying it might not happen. On the 98%, it might not happen. But the 2% chance I could bring you in, when this other blog drops, I am going to call you and I'm going to be like, I'm sorry. I know you are on your sabbatical for 3 months, but this one needs Ron. But I thank you guys, everyone. We're at 262 and we continue to go up. Like, I love streaming live because you see the steady increase, like every 10, 15, 20 minutes, more people flow in. So much respect to everyone out there. We're going to stream tomorrow again. around the same time, whether it's 4:30 to 6:30 in that range. But yeah, send your questions, DM me, DM Ron, join the Discord channel, because this is why the Odin team exists. We knew, and since the first day, we were going to build this community. It is growing exponentially every month, and as we grow every month, you guys will get some of that. And by the way, a little spoiler is that eventually we're going to bring a podcast to everyone. So I already spoke to Andre about that. So maybe in the next month, guys, and have a good one.